So today marks an historic milestone for Tampa Bay. It was exactly 100 years ago today that the last major hurricane hit the Tampa Bay area. This was 1921 when a storm so strong struck Tarpon Springs and cost the entire area what's now equivalent to $120 million in damage. That's what it would have been in today's dollars. Fox 13's Jennifer Holton following it for us joins us now live. And, you know, we've experienced a lot of storms, but it sounds like this one was a really big one, Jen.
Absolutely, Cynthia. This hurricane caused widespread destruction all across our area when it made landfall in Tarpon Springs as a Category 3 hurricane during the early morning hours of October 25th, 1921.
It packed 120-mile-an-hour winds with a storm surge of 11 feet and claimed the lives of 8, including children. 100 years ago, Tampa's most infamous storm made landfall.
There's estimates of upwards to $2 million worth of damage, and particularly a lot of personal property damage. There's a lot of homes that are going to be damaged.
That includes the Bayshore Boulevard home of J. Brown Wallace, one of the signers of Paul Macia's charter. This photo shows how the house was pushed off its foundation. Though the storm made landfall in Tarpon Springs, downtown Tampa also saw some of the highest storm surge.
Problem is, because the eye of the storm lands just north of the bay, the 1921 hurricane is going to sweep all that water into the bay, and that's why we have an almost 12-foot storm surge that's going to flood huge portions of downtown and Bayshore.
The storm arrived during the start of the Florida land boom. Massey says people were investing in Tampa, and officials did not want that to stop.
When the storm hits, what boosters are going to say is, oh, you know, this was bad, but it's a once-in-a-lifetime thing. It's not going to happen again. It's actually a local weatherman that says that he's confident that the Tampa Bay area will never be hit by another storm like this, and he tells the press, I'm already rebuilding my home, so I don't want people to worry about this.
In Pinellas County, many coastal homes and businesses were flooded. The iconic St. Pete Pier was destroyed. It was long before we used the Saffir-Simpson wind scale, which would have deemed it a Cat 3. And yes, we haven't seen a direct hit in 100 years, but Massey says don't get complacent.
That doesn't mean it's not going to happen. You know, this idea that Tampa Bay isn't going to get hit by a storm just isn't true.
Don't be complacent. That is the key rule that he says here. And we're here along Bayshore Avenue, Cynthia, where a lot of the worst damage happened 100 years ago today. Right across the street where the sidewalk is, that's where the streetcar was that would take folks all the way down to Ballast Point Park and the Brick Road. Both of those things were very severely damaged during that storm. And coming up on the Fox 13 News at 6 p.m., we're going to show you how much Tampa has changed over the course of 100 years. And if we were to be hit by a similar storm like that one, how we would fare. That's coming up again at 6 p.m. Back to you.
We're going to be looking forward to seeing that one. Thanks so much, Jen Holton. And when you consider how much more we're built up in 100 years,
12-foot storm surge now, multi-billion-dollar disaster. The 21 hurricane is well documented, but there was actually a hurricane back in 1848 that made landfall near Clearwater Beach as either a Cat 3 or a Cat 4.
Wow.
So it goes to show, you know, it certainly can happen in the past. It's going to happen in the future. Every year that goes by, we go, well, we made it through this season, and then you kind of wait for the next season.